ass.
It
Come
should be
on.
on his ass.
No, it's actually going to be on the side of his calf, so that's going to be really cool. It's going to look good.
And he's going to have the whole logo with the lady, the Liberty statue.
Yeah,
Really?
I
That's a
think
lot of stuff. That's going to take a while.
It's not going to take that long. This one, the one I have on my shoulder, I can't even lift it up because my arms are too fat. My that peacock that I have on there, that took about 2 hours, but there's a lot of detail in that.
Wow. All right, so we'll be talking to these guys in just a few minutes, and we'll get started on the tattoo here in just a little while. Right now, how about some Smashing Pumpkins? This lay on X1 FM, exploring the limits of music. Good morning, this is Dangerous Dick along with Jen, and I got a studio full of people right now because we're going to do some wacky shtick. Well, one of our chatters in the chat room, Vic, if you've been in there a few times, you've probably seen him in there. He's in there a lot. He's a big fan of the show. He's come out to the Comedy Palace to see my comedy show before. He and his girlfriend, Karina, who is... She in here? Hello, Karina.
Hi, Karina.
She's over there in the corner. And he's going to get tattooed by these guys from the Church of Steel. Is it a tattoo shop and piercing shop, or what all kind of stuff you got going on over there?
It's a body piercing tattoo establishment.
Okay. And this is Art. How's it going, Art?
Good, thank you.
And Lance over here in the corner. Lance is going to be actually doing the tattooing.
How you doing?
Good to see you. Welcome, you guys. So... I'm very excited. Now, this is Vic here in the... I don't know if you can see him. How's it going, Vic? Good to see you, buddy. He's going to have the X1 FM logo tattooed on his leg, which is quite an extensive logo. If you see... I don't know if we can get a shot of the logo over here on the wall. He's going to have the Statue of Liberty and everything to put on there. That's pretty wild.
That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, man. I can't wait. This is going to take a while. This is going to take like an hour.
But he's in really good hands because you guys have like over 20 years experience doing tattooing in your shop, which is really cool. And so you have body piercing and tattoo. It's the locations at 750 Broadway, downtown San Diego, corner of 8th and Broadway.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. So it should be. I think you're in very good hands.
Thank you.
Now, Art, you got a lot of tattoos. Let's talk about tattoos with you real quick, my friend. Your arms, it looks like, are completely covered, right?
Yes, they're completely covered and sleeved in traditional Polynesian work from the island of the French Polynesian island, Yap. And the Yap warriors would do a solid black arm or a solid black thigh or half of upper panel, meaning the upper chest down to the abdominal area. And the rest of the body is done in traditional, also French Polynesian island, Marquesas, traditional.
The whole rest of your body is done up that way?
Yes, it's a
so you're from head to toe?
Well, from cheeks to the tops of my feet. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And how long has it taken you to do that?
In different stages and phases, as tattooing for myself has been a journey.
Yeah.
It's been 30 years in
wow.
the making, and I just finished the bodysuit about a year and a half ago.
The bodysuit. What a great term. Did you make that up?
No, that's a term that's used in the industry. It's a bodysuit is what you consider it. As a sleeve would be a whole arm. Mm-hmm. Or a chest plate would be the chest, encompassing the chest and the shoulder, and so forth.
Now, why did you go with that? Is that your background, or are you just a fan of the Islanders, or whatever? What's the deal?
It's like with many of our lives. It's there's a transition. There's phases. There's stages where I started getting tattooed at 17, and there are some tattoos that are under my arms. Now, I didn't cover them because it was anything that I regretted. They're still near and dear to my heart, and they're a memory of where I've been, because tattooing is a map of where you've been, both emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So it is a journey, and it manifests through the years, because we all evolve. And what we, like a lot of us, we think back to when we were 18 and what we were doing when we were 17 or 18, and then we think, wow, that was kind of ridiculous. I used to dress like that now that we're 40. So our thought process also evolves and changes, matures, and that also goes along with your tattooing as you progress.
Now, what tattoos did you cover that you got at 17? Can you still see them through the total black arms?
You wouldn't be able to see it through the black ink, really, because it's pretty solid. But I had full sleeves, which is with my traditional cultural work, which is all pre-Hispanic, because I'm Hispanic. So a lot of the Mayan, Aztec, Toltec artwork was on there, the traditional, and then of course the traditional cultural Latino tattooing. But it was just time to let go. it was a rebirth for me at about 33, and that's when the whole vision came to me, and through meditations of my Polynesian bodysuit. And then I started from the lower torso down to the tops of my feet, and then it evolved and it went on and manifested and grew from that.
Have you been to Polynesia?
No, I plan on going to Polynesia, but I do a lot of traveling to other parts of
I wonder what their
Mexico.
reaction will be.
They embrace
"Hey."
it because I've been to Hawaii, and they embrace it and they love it. Where years ago, they might have gotten a little, perturbed about it because it isn't my culture, but it has opened up to where they can at least appreciate that somebody else. It's like if I was to see somebody else with Mayan or pre-Hispanic work on them, I could admire and appreciate that, even though it's not their ethnic background, because they're wearing it in a sense with respect and pride for that culture and the beauty of it.
Have you had any of your tattoos done like the way the Islanders used to do it, where they
Yes,
tap that little thing?
the traditional tapping.
Is that where you have it done? Oh, wow.
Yes, they call them by the suluapes, which are the individuals who've been taught and handed down the trade and different styles of tapping with the different implements.
Is that more painful?
For me personally, because I can only answer these questions for me personally myself, it all boils down to state of mind. And if you're tattooing and your tattooing stems and comes and it is spiritual to you, then that doesn't even come into play. I've had probably about 90% of my body done with a conventional machine, and the other maybe 15% or so done with traditional tapping. It's much more bonding because it's much more of a ritual. You're laying down. There's 3 people involved. So there's a lot more interaction because there's someone stretching skin, and then the suluape himself or herself would be using both hands, one to tap the stick with the implements or the needle group going in, doing the actual tattooing. So it's by far much more green and much more beautiful and much more interaction. So it's much more spiritual. So
Wow.
it made it more soothing, more than even with a conventional machine.
Now we're talking to Arturo, who's from the Church of Steel, and we got a nice tight shot on his face there on the camera. If you're looking at this, now you got a bunch of piercings too, and I can't not mention the ear loop, or what do they call these things in your ears?
But those are earlobes.
Earlobe? No, I mean the stretcher out things.
Well, those would be just eyelets or earlets.
Eyelets? Is that's probably the biggest ones I've ever seen in somebody's ears. Have you seen bigger than that?
Yes, I know some individuals who have larger lobes than myself.
How big can it get before it rips?
There's a couple different factors that can come into play there. It depends on how slowly you take it, what you start off with. There are individuals as myself, which is a big factor, is I have detached earlobes, which means my earlobes are not attached to the side of my face, which means that or individuals that have detached lobes will be able to stretch their lobes by far larger than somebody who has attached lobes, because you're taken away and you're only able to work and stretch so much of the ear. Where if you have attached lobes, then you're only able to work out with the outer perimeter, where if you have detached lobes, then you can stretch all this tissue.
Now, are you going to try to make those bigger?
Well, just with time and weight, I've been working on them, stretching them for at least 15 years. And with time and weight, they will continue to grow. Mm-hmm.
Do you ever just take those out at night and when you sleep or anything?
No, I wear them. I live them. I live them. I sleep with them. The only time that they come out in the shower to of course clean the ear and the areas. We should keep all piercings clean.
What about when you're driving down the road? Do they catch the wind or anything and flop around?
No,
I mean, it looks like they
you're
would
more
smack you in the head.
aerodynamic, if anything, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Of all the things, see, of all the piercings and stuff like that, those are the ones that worry me the most. I pierced my ear myself 3 times when
So
I was
did I.
in high school. My dad almost kicked
With
me out of
ice
the house.
cubes and needles.
I'm from a small town in Kentucky, and yeah, my parents were ready to kick me out and evict me when I came home with my earring. So, but I got rid of it myself because it would catch on things. Like I would put a hat, or just like headphones on, like I have right now. They would catch on them, and I was always terrified that it would rip it out of my ear. And then I see guys now with these big things like that, and I'm like, oh my God, how do you live your life with that without getting caught on stuff?
Yeah. You do.
Aren't you afraid it's just something going to get caught on something and just rip your whole ear off?
As with time, since like I said, it's been a 15-year